We did a lot of things wrong in our early retirement.
Sure, we planned our finances, but we didn't think about our health, our mental wellness, or our purpose, and we found ourselves floundering for way too long of a time.
If we had to do it all over again, we'd do it much different. Watch this video and we'll tell you how we would do it after making a lot of mistakes.
So I remember that Friday, December 29th, whatever it is, 2018, we both walked out of our offices last day, and there was this sense of relief, this sense of excitement and joy and wondrous thinking of all the things we could do. And that was 8 years ago. Problem was, when we retired, we started searching for a retirement roadmap, how to retire successfully, how to live the best retirement ever. And everything came up about the money. There was no one really talking about the things that we're talking about now. So we've created over the last 8 years what we feel is the most amazing retirement ever and share it with you on YouTube. So stick with us today as we share with you how we would retire all over again if the first day were tomorrow.
That's great.
All right. The first thing that we would focus on, without a doubt, 100%, would be to work on our physical wellness.
I would suggest we would have probably, if we knew then what we knew now, we probably would have been focusing on that more seriously while we were still working.
Well, that's true, 100%.
Like pre-retirement people who are out there, we would have focused on it then. And then into retirement, we would have prioritized that way at the top.
So we've done so much research on this topic, and there are so many influencers out there, doctors like Peter Attia and even Mel Robbins and other people are saying the most important thing that humans can do of all age, two things: build muscle and eat protein. Peter Attia, who's written a book, Outlived, it's, 400 or 500 pages long. He sums it up by saying you need to build muscle and get protein in your body.
Yeah. And a lot of protein, more protein than you would have ever dreamed that you needed in your body. And sometimes it's hard, but when you get into a rhythm with it, when you figure out how many grams are here or there and how much you really need, it gets to be kind of fun. We definitely would have prioritized and built a physical wellness plan before retirement.
Well, and it's not that I wish we had. I don't regret what we did.
I wish we had.
But what I'm saying now is if we were retiring today and know what we know now, the number one thing, because the number one thing in our life right now, besides our kids and each other and Ruby, our dog, is our physical wellness. It's so important to us to exercise, eat the right kind of nutrition, drink less or none, whatever it is
and
for
hydrate.
you. And hydrate every single morning.
Yeah.
And the second thing that really pairs with that, we would have worked harder on our mental wellness.
Our emotional resilience, really.
Our emotional resilience. Yeah. And we both do that really well now. We meditate, we journal, we work on our relationship, we work on our communication, we work on making sure that we communicate well with each other and listen and don't interrupt. And these are all really important tools to help you be more emotionally resilient.
Well, I think for me, and maybe for some of you watching, all the years in corporate America had me shut down certain aspects of my emotions. The last thing as a female leader you ever wanted to be would be called emotional. Oh, she's just emotional. And so there was a lot of shutting down of emotions and drilling into projects or teams or goals or outcomes. And I didn't really realize until well into retirement that I needed to tap on those emotions that I had previously shut down and tap on into gratitude for the big things, the little things, the medium things, the ordinary things, and how that could really save us as we move through our retirement journey.
You just mentioned gratitude, and I think that for me, as you mentioned, and I keep thinking and I keep forgetting about how important it is to spend time focusing on being grateful. I think it's one of the most important, I'll call it a muscle you need to work on. And I start every morning by writing down 3 gratitudes, 3 things I'm grateful for every single morning. And the first one is always Jody, and something about Jody I'm grateful for. And that's actually given me such stability and emotional resilience that it makes a huge difference in our lives going forward when you're able to do that.
Yeah, I know. I totally agree.
So, by the way, in the notes below, there's the free one-year retirement checklist. This is the most amazing checklist ever. It's our most popular download. So if you haven't downloaded it yet, please click the link and download it now.
Okay, so what's the next one?
Oh, the third one is what we would do is really redefine our purpose right up front. You know, we just finished our 8-week masterclass that we do once a year, and we break it down into the 8 pillars. And at the very end, we talk about purpose and contribution. And I think what we learned from doing the course this time is that really needs to be almost in the beginning and woven throughout everything else we talk about. Because people are like, I'm here, I'm bored, I'm lonely, I don't know what to do. I get up and I'm lost and I don't know. Okay, started going to the gym. I started drinking water like you suggested. But really having some purpose, something bigger than yourself to work on and worry about is really critically important.
Yeah, I would agree. And I think that the idea of expanding your curiosity to figure out what does excite you in this phase of life or what could be your purpose and kind of start with a really wide universe.
Yeah.
You know, we didn't do that. We both came from the insurance industry. So we started leaning into maybe our purpose would be consulting in insurance, or maybe our purpose would be, you know, Mark driving a sales team for an insurance group. Or,
I thought you were going to say driving an Uber.
No, but you would be terrible at that.
I would be terrible. I fall asleep when I drive.
So, you know, we didn't allow ourselves in the early stages to say, well, okay, leave insurance behind. What else is there? What else could there be for us? And what are the myriad of possibilities that are out there, either in volunteering or community-based or based organizations, or what would they be that would really strike a purpose for us?
Well, I think the other thing is, I don't think we knew up until recently how important it is to actually name and claim a purpose beyond just being married and playing golf and having pickleball. It takes a lot more than that to feel fulfilled, feel like you're making a difference, and feel worthy again or like you're needed again. I think that's what everyone wants to do, is feel like you're helping someone else and you feel needed.
So the next one is, I think we would have slowed down the over planning kind of that we brought into retirement. Like, you know, having no plan is not a good idea, and having too much of a plan or saying yes to everything everyone asks you to do is also not a good idea. I don't think we really understood the balance between being planned and experimenting.
Well, the thing is, if we knew then what we know now, which is hindsight, right, we would have done it different. So the point of this video is how we will retire today. And I think to your point, we would have less structure about how we think things should be, and we'd experiment a heck of a lot more.
Right.
We would have tried a lot more things a lot quicker to try to find our purpose, our physical wellness, our mental wellness, to work on our relationship. Experimenting is really important in this phase. Don't let yourself get caught up in the, I've always done it this way, so I'm going to keep doing it this way. This could be a 10, 20, or 30-year phase of your life. And you've got to have the ability to grow and change and experiment and try new things. You got to come out of your comfort zone and stretch a little bit.
Right.
Would you agree?
Which I think we do every day, especially in this business.
We do, yeah. One of the other things that we would do differently if we were retiring today is, and I think we're doing this now, but we would invest in our relationships, including each other and our family and friends, like we do our assets. So we all enter retirement with a certain amount of income, a certain amount of assets, and that's really important. And we spend a lot of time with a financial planner figuring out how much we have and how long will it last, and it creates stress and all that. But you know what's really important is having good, solid foundation of relationships beyond the one you have with yourself.
Right. No, I would agree. And I think that some of that we took for granted during our working time, during our careers, because you were always surrounded with people. You had a lot of friends at work. So maybe you didn't invest in all of those college friends or high school friends or neighbor friends or community friends because you were so busy with work and then
Right.
the friends that you had at work. And once those peel out, you find yourself wondering where and how to invest now. And I think, again, if you're pre-retirement or early retirement, this is a good clue to you to start investing in those relationships early, those relationships outside of your work relationships, the reconnection, the reinvigorating, the revitalizing. No,
Sure, that's a good word.
I don't know. Anyway, it's time to really make it a priority and relationships a priority, because at this stage of the game, people don't just come knocking on your door and say, hey, do you want to be friends? Or, hey, do you want to go out to lunch? When I used to sit in my office, I'd probably have 4 or 5 people every day say, can we grab lunch today? You don't have that anymore.
You don't. And I want to give a special shout out or a message to the men, because I believe it's a little bit harder for men to make new relationships than it is for women. And that's generalizing. But most women are pretty good social animals. You've been a social animal your whole life. Men tend to want to do it alone. I can handle it. I don't need help. And that's the wrong attitude. And it takes me, a self-described or self-analyzed introvert. Mm-hmm. It's hard for me to go out and meet new people, new men friends. So you've got to put some effort into it and live it intensely. We've done a lot of videos on this because it's a really important topic. So we would have done it differently knowing what we know now if we were going to retire today.
Yeah. And I don't know the statistics around it's harder for men or women. It could be harder for people who are introverts, male or female, right? I'm not really sure of what the math is on all of that, but it is hard and it takes intention, and it's something that I think we would have started earlier.
Yeah, 100%. The other thing that we would do differently that we've learned over the last 8 years is we would have simplified our life a lot sooner. Because of how we landed in retirement and because of learning and building this business along the way, we didn't know what we know now. And one of the things that we found out is that it's very easy to all of a sudden have your life either, I would say, too simple or too complicated. And when I say too simple, you don't really have anything to do, and you're bored and lonely and you watch TV all day long. Too complicated is you're just jammed and you're running around like a chicken with your head cut off. We've now found a really nice, and you love this word, instead of a routine and schedule, Jody calls it rhythm. We have a really beautiful rhythm in our life right now. Our relationship is at an all-time high. Yeah, we have ups and downs and we have bad days, but we have a rhythm and we respect each other and we love each other. We have a rhythm in what we do Monday through Friday. Monday's a work day. Tuesday is my golf day. Now, we do other things, but that's kind of my golf day to be with men. Jody's Wednesday is golf with the ladies. Thursday, we film video and do a little bit of work. And Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 3-day weekend to do what we want.
Yeah.
And we didn't have that up until now.
No, we didn't.
We were kind of all over the place. We'd film different days. Golf wasn't really that scheduled, and now it is.
I would also say in this simplification bucket, simplifying where you live, I mean, the actual physical presence or home or apartment or condo or townhouse, whatever it is, the structure you live in, simplifying that makes a big difference. When we were working and had a second home in Connecticut that was built in 1780, and it had all the charm that you can imagine a house that was built in 1780 had, and the history and all the things, that house took a lot of work. And when we retired, all of a sudden our eyes were open to all the things that we needed to do at that house.
Right. And we loved it while we had it.
We loved it. We absolutely did. We loved it. However, it became overwhelming. So simplifying our homes, I mean, I can clean our home in Florida with a Swiffer and Glass Plus, and I'm done.
Yeah.
So making things simpler, making your existence, your living space, your relationships, your schedule, your rhythm, making things simple is something that should be a goal, I think, for everyone.
Yeah, I mean, during the beginning of our retirement, we were boating a lot, and it was fun, but it's complicated and it's stressful, and trying to navigate and reserve spots and all of that. And it sounds like I'm complaining. I'm not. But now we have a little pontoon boat, and you just put it in the water and you just drive around, and it's easy and fun.
Like driving your living room.
Yeah, and you just pull up on the beach and hang out. So if we knew what we knew now back then, we would definitely work on
simplification.
Yeah, making our lifestyle easier earlier. So let's look at a couple questions that our team put together. This is Victor. I'm 70 years old. I've already retired but feel stuck. How do you rebuild purpose after losing momentum? You know, there's an exercise that I love to take our clients through. We just did it with everybody in our masterclass. It just finished a couple weeks ago. Go back over your career and list every single job and role that you had, not just the company you worked for, but I went back to paperboy, cutting grass, working at the Nichols Yacht Yard in Mamaroneck, pumping gas in the summer. Through college, I had 3 jobs in college. Write down all the jobs and then your career, the different roles you played, and then think about what you liked about that job, what you didn't like about it, and what kind of joy did you get, or what kind of feeling did you have when you were doing that job? And when you go back over that whole list and you circle every column where, you know, you felt great, you loved it, you put your head down at night and you felt really satisfied, circle all those and then look to the left and see the jobs you had. You'll start to find out what it is that really made you tick. Is it looking at financial spreadsheets and finding mistakes? Is it coaching someone? Is it building something? I'm a big builder. I love to build things. So for me, building this channel and this business works well for me.
Yeah. No, I think that's great.
That was a long answer.
That was long.
I'm sorry. You want to add to that? No. Okay. This is Howard. I'm 73. Do you think retirement planning today is harder because of how fast the world changes?
I would say the world changes. The world has always changed. There's been, honestly, not a year that goes by that the world is not changing. So I don't think it's harder because of how fast the world changes. Technology is certainly changing very fast, year over year, faster and faster. And that's something that we strive to keep up with. But I don't think retirement planning is harder because of the way the world's changing fast.
I would say what's harder today is being able to have good, solid emotional resilience because of the political landscape, regionally, locally, nationally, around the globe, the technology changing so fast. There's so much change happening so fast. You've got to find a way to have some grounding in who you are and what's important to you. If you're one of those people that turns the TV on and you watch the news all day long, you're going to have a hard time doing anything, much less retirement planning. So really finding some grounding in who you are and stay away from social media a little bit, except for our YouTube channel. Every time I say that, someone says, I don't get it. You say to stay off of YouTube, yet you have a YouTube channel.
Right.
So pick your spots that give you joy and happiness.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. This is Evelyn. She's 66. How did you both find new structure without feeling like you were going back to work? You know, I think we had a question like that from somebody else, and it's your structure. Work structure was work, and that was kind of forced on you in a way. Now we're building a structure that works for us.
I think for me, I had to peel out what was truly work structure and what was truly structure because how I am built. So, for example, I have never, even back in my teen years, early 20s, late 20s, I've never been a person that slept till 10 or 11 in the morning. Just wasn't that person. I don't know if it's because I always had to get up. I always had a job. I don't know what it was, but I'm just programmed to get up in the morning and get going. So for me to add a morning routine in doesn't feel like work. It feels like me being true to who I am in my life. I've never been a fast food person, for example. My mom would not allow it, quite frankly. Don't know that I've ever actually had a McDonald's. I think I've had a Wendy's, never had Burger King, like Taco Bell. Like it just wasn't allowed. We just weren't allowed to do it. So eating healthy doesn't feel like work to me. It feels like who I am. That's how I was built.
Well, as a plus to that, when I met you and you had this anti-attitude against fast food, I was
a big fast food guy.
Yeah, Kentucky Fried Chicken, McDonald's. I can't think of the other one. Delicatessen.
General Chow's Chicken.
Yeah.
General
Chinese food, a big
Cho's
Chinese
chicken.
food guy. So you've weaned me off of that. I will say the one fast food place that we both will go to if we're traveling from, a long way.
Not me, since I saw the documentary. I know what you're going to say.
Chick-fil-A.
No way.
Okay, Chick-fil-A's out next.
Have you seen the documentary of the microorganisms crawling on that stuff?
Yeah, that's fake news.
Yeah, not doing it.
Fake
I don't
news.
care. Not
Sorry.
doing it.
Okay. All right. Hey, hope you like this video. Watch this one next. The perfect age to retire, and it's backed up by data. So watch this one next.